Hey guys, we are back. Thank you guys for joining. Let's get into our show. As you guys can see in our description, this will be an open panel live. So you guys will get to come up and discuss some topics that we're talking about today. It's been a while since I did open panel, so I'm kind of excited. So if you guys would like to do that, when I drop the link, feel free to hit the link and come up and speak. But hey, Rose, hey, Truth, thank you guys for being here. Those are my top flights. Hey, Macklin Davis, Yvette Bell, thanks for being here. Let's go ahead and jump on in. Everything said in the video is alleged and in my opinion, and is used for fair use and entertainment. All right. Usually I don't like to do politics in my pop-ins, but I had to play this live because oh my God. This lady here, honey, she is getting on this man's ass something serious and talk to him like he was her son. So as you guys can see, Repayana Presley. Okay, American holds $500 billion in medical debt, burdened by the most challenging crisis in their lives. They said we used to have consumer protections to relieve that burden until CFPB Director Vaught rescinded them. So it says that his legacy will be one of hurt and harm. The people deserve better. So they want him out of office. As you guys can see, Russell Vaught. Let's get into what this lady had to say to him, because baby, she went off on him.
Is not one good reason. You claim, you avow that you are a self-proclaimed Christian nationalist. So I'm sure you spent some time in Sunday school.
That's a pejorative.
I'm sorry, did you happen upon a scripture that said, thou shalt make their neighbor poorer, hungrier, sicker, and less safe? That's actually what you've done. I didn't ask you to speak.
Yikes.
This makes no sense.
I didn't ask you to speak.
You are as incompetent as you are cruel and callous. Seriously, there are millions of families who have had to deal with an unexpected medical crisis, including yours, I'm sure, because cancer and illness do not discriminate. They don't care how fat your wallet is or what your zip code is. Everyone has been faced with some unexpected crisis that interrupted their life and destabilized their financial future, carrying the burden of caregiving, carrying the burden of sleepless nights, carrying the burden of debt unpaid, medical bills. But what upsets me most, please look at me, what upsets me most is the shame that people carry about that debt. So let me be clear to families throughout the country. The only people who should be ashamed of medical debt is the Republican Party, because they have obstructed progress for affordable health care at every turn. And then they rescinded the rule that would have given you some relief.
Would the gentlelady yield?
I will not. This is my time.
Would the gentlelady yield?
I will not yield. This is my time. And he's on his way out the door, and he needs to know exactly the harm he has caused. But the American people deserve to know.
Obamacare.
I will not yield.
It's Miss Presley's time.
Why are you speaking to me when I didn't yield to you? Direct your vote.
She ain't nothing to play with, is she? Damn.
You have gutted the CFPB. You have dropped settlements the CFPB brought against predatory companies that were supposed to provide relief to customers. $360 million to help people gone. Americans are in dire need of financial relief, but Trump and his co-conspirators, his cult of co-conspirators, are making life worse for everyday people. And I mean everyone, women, the disabled, young people, seniors, veterans, immigrants, and especially people of color who are most burdened by debt and predatory collection and reporting practices. That is exactly why I introduced legislation to stop you from hurting people, like getting rid of consumer protections related to medical debt. The American public deserves better. They deserve better than you. There is not one good reason. You claim, you avow that you are a self-proclaimed Christian nationalist. So I'm sure you spent some time in Sunday school.
That's a pejorative.
I'm sorry, did you happen upon a scripture that said, thou shalt make their neighbor poorer, hungrier, sicker, and less safe? That's actually what you've done.
She told his ass and told him, I ain't asked you to speak, and no, I will not rescind. And why are you speaking to me? Because I didn't tell you I was yielding. I love to see our educated people check somebody and let them know, yeah, you're not going up and play with me, right? That's what she let him know. And I was happy to see that shit, okay? What do y'all think about that? They do be doing a lot of crazy stuff, especially when it comes to healthcare. Y'all know they try to get rid of Obamacare, which I don't understand why, because there's a lot of people who don't have healthcare Obamacare is an affordable health care plan, but because it's under Obama and his name is on it, they don't want it to be a thing. So I'm happy that she is speaking up for those of the lesser type of people who can't afford certain things like healthcare, because everybody needs healthcare. If you don't have healthcare, oh my God. But shout out to Miss Presley, honey, Miss Presley, for coming up and through there and letting the people know that they're not about to overtalk her because they feel like she's just some ordinary Black woman, because that's just not who she is. Okay, y'all sign off on that one, honey. I love that. That made my day right there. That absolutely made my day. All right, let's continue on. All right, so next topic. Now we're going to look at this court reporter transcript that I ran across from, shout out to Public Opinion Court. Let's take a look at this, because y'all know we've been talking about cases and cases. We got to look at some case stuff, okay? We got to look at some case stuff. So let's get into it. Hold on, guys. Got that up. Hold on 1 second for me. All right, so we're back. Let's get into it. All right. So you guys see on my screen, shout out to the Public Opinion Court. It said that the court reporter's transcript in the Karmelo Anthony case confirms that the judge's interference, you guys, the transcript shows that that Judge Roach interfered and used his influence to violate Karmelo Anthony's right to testify. Now, that's going to be one of the things that's going to get him recused from this appeal. Y'all know that the appeal case has already been filed. And the appeal has already been accepted. So now it's just a matter of moving forward with this new case to get Karmelo actually seen again in court, all right, for this case, or tried again, all right? So let's read some of this, because this sounds interesting. So it says up here on page 22, the parties are in a criminal case like there is a civil case. It says that this is hold on, this not this. So this deal is a gentleman's agreement, which gentleman's agreements are not enforceable. Said okay, if we got to that. Said, do you remember that? Do you have to respond out loud? Then the defendant says yes, sir. So it says that the court then responded by saying, okay, are we doing the do? What? Are we going to do the, this don't make sense. Who typed this up? Okay, so number 11 here is where they're swearing in Karmelo Anthony. Y'all forgive me, I'm reading it verbatim. And whoever typed this out, wrote this out, court reporter, y'all need to be fired because y'all can't type for shit. All right, so they're telling Karmelo on number 11 here to raise his hand. Okay, they said, raise your hand, Mr. Anthony. Number 12 says the defendant has been sworn. It goes on to say that the court then says, okay, put your hand down after they swear him in. It says that, all right, state your full name for the record. The defendant, which is Karmelo Anthony, then says that Karmelo Sincere Anthony. The court then says that Mr. Anthony, are you the defendant in this case? Is that right? He then responds by saying, yes, sir. Then the court then asks, okay, and you understand where we are in this case? Karmelo then responds by saying, yes, sir. So then the court then says, can you explain to me where we are in this case? The defendant, which would be Karmelo, says almost to my testimony, okay? So number 11 said that throughout the morning and early afternoon of Saturday, June 6th, rather, said Mr. Shook and I repeatedly checked in with Mr. Worski to get updated estimates of when he might rest his case in chief, each time referring to how the judge's plan was going to force us to call our client out of order. So then number 12 then says that besides the defense team repeatedly mentioning in front of Mr. Worski and the rest of the prosecution team that we intended to call our client to testify, even if it meant that it would be out of order, said Mr. Worski own actions and arguments made it clear that he knew full well that we intended to call Mr. Anthony to testify. So Karmelo was supposed to testify in his own case and did not. It looks like some type of deal was made and they reneged on that deal. That's what it's given. Even before both sides tendered their notices of and arguments in favor of the admissibly of character, admissibility, of character, reputation, and extraneous evidence pertaining to the other side's witnesses. It says that Mr. Worski made reference to understanding that the defense sought to introduce character and reputation evidence about Austin and Hunter Metcalf that was uncommunicated and unknown to Mr. Anthony via the ambiguous aggressor rule from Thurs versus State, and then it gives the statute number there for Texas Criminal App of 2. So they were going to talk about Hunter and Austin's reputation and character, and the judge struck that from the record to where they didn't want that. Why not? That's definitely something that should have been considered, especially with Karmelo claiming self-defense in this case. Correct? Don't y'all agree? If he's pleading self-defense in this case, would it not be admissible for the courts to allow character and reputation evidence about Austin and Hunter Metcalf, being that they both were involved in this case, and they're the reason why this case is even a case, be mentioned and or brought up in this case? That's weird, right? Let's skip down. Says that for all these reasons, the defense also understood that the arguments to include Mr. Anthony's testimony free of impeachment by character, reputation, and extraneous evidence, bad act evidence, just like every other witness either side could call to testify about what happened under the tent that day. So they did a little switcheroo. Now, it says that after the breakdown of the agreement, the defense and prosecution teams agreed to take 10 minutes to cool off before attempting to renegotiate parameters for how the agreement could extend to Mr. Anthony's testimony should the defense now choose to call him. It says that after the 10-minute cooling off period, Mr. Worski and I met in open court outside of the presence of the jury without the public in the room. I bet you did. To discuss possible parameters for the agreement covering Mr. Anthony's testimony. I bet they did. That says that given Mr. Worski's expansive view of what he considered would be an open door character, reputation, and extraneous evidence pertaining to Mr. Anthony, especially his repeated claim, even after the judge stated otherwise, that even my mentioning of playing chess opened the door to character. Says that I resolved that my only choice was to go over my planned outline of Mr. Anthony's direct examination line by the line with Mr. Worski to determine what would and would not, in Mr. Worski's view, open the door. Said that I have never taken such a drastic step of previewing my strategy and even my questions with prosecutor. But as a defense team, we agreed that we had no other option if we wanted to try to reach an agreed understanding with Mr. Worski of how the renegotiated agreement would cover Mr. Anthony's testimony. So this was all last minute. Mind you, it takes time to put a case together, who's going to testify, what's going to be said, who are the witnesses, but it looks like the judge did some type of switcheroo last minute shit to where they were forced to make a decision at the last minute about Karmelo. He actually wanted to get on the stand and testify and say, hey, this is what happened. I didn't mean to stab him. Whatever the case may be, the judge would not allow that because of some type of agreement. Last minute agreement, it sounds like, that was made, which then had Mr. Worski scrambling, trying to figure out what the hell was going on. And they only would allow 10 minutes to make this agreement. So that's not enough time to overlook all of the things that you have to consider in this case, being that this is a case where someone passed away, with all of the other evidence that they had to also consider. 10 minutes is not enough time to rush through a decision like that. So that's something else I hope they look at in terms of the appeal moving forward. What do y'all think so far? So it said that the court reporter's transcript revealed yet again that Judge Toby Crook and Big Bill Bird Worski interference with Karmelo Anthony's constitutional right to testify. That's going to cost them later on. Now, the transcript laid out the framework of how they interfered with and allowed prosecutors to violate Karmelo Anthony's constitutional rights. If this doesn't clear up why Judge Roach needs to be recused, I don't know what else. We'll shout out to a public opinion court. She be on her ish. All right. If you guys want to read all of this at your leisure, we don't want to spend too much time on one particular case because we still got to get into this other information. I'm going to drop this here. Yeah, they railroaded him. But hopefully this is all going to turn around when they, of course, have the appeal case. All this is going to be taken into consideration. You guys know another judge has already stepped up to overlook this and see about recusing Judge Roach for his bullshit. Okay. You guys still sending me stuff for the show? All right, so let's focus because guys, y'all got a lot of stuff to go through. Hold on. Let's see. Defense counsel, Sixth Amendment violations. Hold on. No. Okay. So can you guys still see? Okay, there we go. All right. So as you guys can see, defense counsel, Sixth Amendment violations. These are the violations that they're saying were that Karmelo was actually violated in court. Let's get into it. Defense counsel, Sixth Amendment violations. One, restricting the defendant's right to represent a complete defense. The transcript reflects defense counsel agreeing to limit testimony concerning, number one, self-defense evidence, two, epilepsy and seizures, character-related evidence, prior inconsistent statements, the knife, we got to sit that way for you two, the reasonableness of Karmelo's fears, said that the Supreme Court has recognized that a criminal defendant has a constitutional right to represent a meaningful defense and do. They didn't allow it that day. Defense counsel, Sixth Amendment violations. Number two, ineffective assistance to counsel. Defense counsel repeatedly stated that we have reached an agreement. We have made a strategic decision rather than asking the court to rule in admissibility. An effective or ineffective, rather, assistance claim generally requires proof under Strickland versus Washington, deficient performance and prejudice. The transcript could be cited as evidence supporting an argument that counsel waived potentially favorable evidence without requiring the state to meet its evidentiary burden. Whether that amounted to constitutional deficient performance would depend on the full record. We're almost there, guys. Number three says waiver of constitutional rights. Certain constitutional rights belong personally to the defendant. Examples include right to testify, right to plead guilty, right to waive jury, and right to appeal, which he has done in many circumstances. All right, let's keep going. Prosecutorial. Well, I can't say that word. Misconduct. All right. B says negotiating around evidentiary rules. The prosecutors state both sides know that it is not up to the court to enforce this. If the parties effectively negotiated evidentiary limits without obtaining judicial ruling, an argument could be made that they bypassed the normal adversarial process. So that whether that constitutes misconduct depends on the circumstances and applicable ethical rules. Okay, so present favorable evidence means that if evidence favorable to the defense was withheld or limited through agreement rather than ruled admissible, a defendant might argue violations implicating Bradley versus Maryland, Giglow versus United States. All right, those doctrines, however, require specific facts about suppression or non-disclosure beyond what appears in the excerpts. Okay. All right. Trying to see if we should read that one. For prosecutorial misconduct. Okay, let's read this one. Prosecutorial misconduct. Failing to seek justice rather than tactical advantage. Encouraging limitations on exploratory evidence, participating in agreements that impair the truth-seeking function. Whether a disciplinary violation occurred would require a full factual review. Judicial issues, acknowledgement of unusual agreement, which that's exactly what happened here. Said, I have never seen a case where the attorneys work together. Said that this statement acknowledges that the agreement between the parties is outside of normal adversarial process expected in a criminal case. So they weren't even supposed to do that. What they did, this whole 10-minute thing, we'll give you 10 minutes to decide. That's something they weren't even supposed to do. B says that limited role in enforcing agreements. The judge states that I'm not here to enforce agreements between parties in a criminal case. This statement reaffirms that the court will not be bound by or enforce private agreements that affect a criminal defendant's rights. It's a lot of violations here, don't y'all think? Implications said that the judge's comments highlight the court's awareness of the agreement's unusual nature and potential impact. The court distances itself from obligation to enforce terms that could limit the defendant's rights. Also, any failure to require formal rulings on evidentiary issues may raise concerns about the protection of due process. They have violated a lot of stuff here in this case. In the court transcript confirms Judge Roach, Toby Crook, and Mike Coward and Dewey Mitchell violated Karmelo Anthony's constitutional right, Sixth Amendment right to effective assistance to counsel, Sixth Amendment right to represent a complete defense, Sixth Amendment right to testify fully in one's own defense if affected, 14th Amendment due process, compulsory process clause if evidence or testimony was improperly limited, fair trial rights. Damn, that's a lot they violated. What is that? Cumulative effect of restricting exculpatory evidence. Oh, these are some big words. Karmelo Anthony was legally lynched. Absolutely. Shout out to the public opinion court. You guys can go through and read that at your leisure. Okay, I did drop the link there in the chat as far as that goes. All right, so there was something else that just hit. Karmelo Anthony's attorney slammed the trial judge. Y'all, TMZ just reported this. We're gonna get into that because that's interesting while we're on Karmelo. They're working, guys. They're working. So if y'all want to go back and read all that, you can. We dropped the link there so y'all can see it. All right, so according to TMZ, this just dropped. Karmelo Anthony's attorney slammed the trial judge. That's Karmelo. So the new judge has been assigned to oversee the ongoing proceedings in Karmelo Anthony's unaliving case as the convicted unaliver's new lawyer calls foul on the trial's judge. Now, a new judge, Harley, was assigned to Karmelo's case Tuesday per court records obtained by WFAA. Harley will preside over Karmelo's motion to recuse trial judge John Roach from handling post-trial proceedings, okay? All right, so y'all see that here? We get ready to look at it here in a second. Let's finish reading first. Karmelo's new attorney, Russell Wilson, is blasting the trial judge, claiming that Roach made comments following Karmelo's conviction that showed that he could not be fair and unbiased. Said Wilson also claims that gentlemen agreements made between attorneys about the testament or what testimony would be admissible weren't completely followed, and that impacted Karmelo's decision not to testify and therefore impacted the outcome of the trial. Why do I feel like that was intentional? However, Collin County First Assistant District Attorney Bill Wurst told WFAA that Karmelo's defense team submitted inaccurate characterizations of the trial proceedings and that the entire prosecution team conducted this trial ethically and in full compliance with the court's rulings and any agreements with self-defense counsel. Judge Harley will ultimately decide if Karmelo will get a new judge and trial. As you know, says Karmelo was convicted of unaliving last month and is currently serving a 35-year prison sentence for fatally stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a 2025 Texas high school track meet. Let's go back and look at this video of this attorney. So this is Karmelo's attorney. Let's take a look at it. Let's make it big. Shout out to...
This is where my story begins.
Let's get over the ad, you guys.
Overcoming.
Taken tonight in Karmelo Anthony's appeal. He's serving 35 years in prison on a murder conviction for stabbing Austin Metcalf last year. One of his new attorneys just told us why they're asking a judge to order a new trial. Kevin Reese walks us through those claims and how prosecutors...
This is TMZ, y'all. It's not me, I promise. Hold on. Let's refresh it. You know what the hell is going on here? Let's try again. I don't know what's going on with the video? Y'all be patient with me, honey. Let's see.
Tonight in Karmelo Anthony's appeal, he's serving 35 years in prison on a murder conviction for stabbing Austin Metcalf last year. One of his new attorneys just told us why they're asking a judge to order a new trial. Kevin Reese walks us through those claims and how prosecutors are responding.
5 lawyers and judges at St. Luke United Methodist Church in East Dallas explaining to an audience how juries are selected, an event motivated in part by the trial of Karmelo Anthony and his murder conviction without a black person on his jury.
A fair juror to the defendant and the plaintiff.
One of these lawyers is Russell Wilson, the new appeals attorney for Karmelo Anthony.
But we understand that there's two sides to every story, but we feel confident in the positions that we're taking.
Their position is that Anthony should get a new trial. They say Judge John Roach, who presided over the case, should be recused based on comments he made after the trial.
We believe that based off of the interview that was done, that he could not be fair and impartial.
And allege that limits on how many people could attend the trial, the speed of that trial, and unrecorded agreements or gentlemen's agreements between attorneys about what testimony would be admissible weren't completely followed, impacting Anthony's decision not to testify in his own defense.
We're arguing that the dispute regarding the agreement did impact the outcome of the trial. Yeah.
The Collin County DA's office sent this statement. The defendant's new lawyers have filed a motion containing several inaccurate characterizations of the trial proceedings. I and the entire prosecution team conducted this trial ethically and in full compliance with the court's rulings and any agreements with defense counsel. The next step, Senior Judge Sid Harrell, who presided over the Uvalde school shooting case, is now assigned to consider if Anthony gets a new judge and possibly a new trial. In Dallas, I'm Kevin Reese.
All right, so that's the update on that with Karmelo. So they are working, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get on over to Nolan's case, all right? So we can look at some stuff because there's a new development with that as well. All right. Oh, yeah, I got some real stuff to show y'all about that. So let's go ahead and look at what's going on here. Shout out to my girl. She gave me permission to share it, so I will share. Shout out to Nina, the paralegal. Shout out to her. All right, she gave me permission to share this information. Boat distress call transcript. Let's take a look at this. Horn Island, Mississippi. There's some things, honey, we got to look at. So the caller, you guys know that there was a call that was placed in distress whenever said boat where Karmelo and his friends were on a boat. One of the other boats were starting to sink or something was going on with the pump or something. And they called for help because they said the boat was actually starting to sink. They actually tied one boat to the other boat to try to make it to the other side. So let's get into what was said in this call because this is broken down. All right, so distress call transcript. Caller says, hey, we're at the west tip of Horn and our oblige pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? So the responder then says, are you taking on water? The caller then says, yes, our oblige pump stopped working and we're sinking. The responder then says, is everyone on board? The caller then says, yes, like 7. So 7 people were on board this boat. The responder then asked, okay, help is on the way. Stay with me. The caller then says, I want to get this boat unsank and towed back. All right. So now let's get into GPS track timeline on July 4th. The source is the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, reported by CBS News. So this is a real thing. So at 9:56 a.m., the vessel departs from a private mainland dock. At 11:14 a.m., the boat arrives at Horn Island. At 4:31 p.m., the boat leaves Horn Island. Investigators believe Wells was no longer on the boat when it left. That's what investigators say. 7 people were still on board. I believe that he was on board. All right, sorry. 4:31 to 5:25 p.m., the vessel is towed for nearly 3 miles at a very low speed due to the blige pump malfunction. At 5:25 p.m. approximately, the boat resumes normal operation on its own power. Look at God. At 5:44 p.m., 6:06 p.m., the boat travels into Fort Bayou and returns to its original departure dock. At 7:19 p.m., the boat is taken out on the water at the Fort Bayou boat launch, then towed overland to the owner's home in Biloxi. Okay, that's the kind of boat it was that 7 people were on. Additional note says mechanical issues caused the boat to take on water. Key takeaway is this timeline provides a clearer picture of the vessel's movement on July 4th based on GPS tracking and the distress call. Important disclaimer, of course, you guys know. Again, shout out to Nina, the paralegal. Thanks for allowing me to use this information. All right, so now we get a little timeline of what had happened. Now, Nolan's grandfather has also spoken up and given some type of comment about this situation as well. So we're going to take a look at that I ran across. According to Mississippi Television, this is where I saw it. Okay. The grandfather of 18-year-old Nolan Wells has released a public statement following his grandson's death, saying that he wanted to make it clear that Nolan's parents, Christine and Elmore, had no involvement in his decision to speak out. Now, in the post, he calls Nolan's death a tragedy for our family and said that he believes that some people and organizations have used the case to promote racism. He also reflected on his own experience with racism, saying that he encountered discrimination while growing up in Mississippi, serving in the military, and later working as a government contractor. While acknowledging that racism exists, he urged people not to let Nolan's death become a source of division. He says, I pray that he doesn't wait too much longer to punish wicked. He wrote, he said that before ending his message with, God bless everyone that's color blind. Said that Nolan Wells was last seen during a July 4th boat trip to Horn Island. His death remains under investigation, as we know. All right, let's keep going. All right, so this is the official statement. Let's read it. Christopher Wells Sr., which is Nolan's grandfather, says, I chose to make this post. Neither Christine nor Elmo has anything to do with Nolan's death. It's a tragedy to our family, but things blew up on social media, and we have entities taking a young man's death, my grandson, and using it to promote racism. Says, I was born and raised in Mississippi, and yes, racism exists here, just like it does all over the United States. I saw and dealt with racism going through school, while I was in the military, and while working as a government contractor after I separated from the military. I reside in Mississippi now, it's home, but there are counties in this state that I wouldn't be caught in after dark. Ooh, that's tea. I said all that to say this, that my mother, father was Caucasian, and if you're Caucasian, you can travel all over this great nation of ours unimpeded. If you're an individual of color, you have a problem, and it's said that God sits high and looks low. I pray that he doesn't wait too much longer to punish the wicked. I'm just saying, waiting to see the repercussions of me making this post. God bless everyone that's color blind. Okay. This is Nolan Wells' grandfather, that released a statement following Nolan Wells' death. All right. So now we get another person who knows him that has some things to say. What do y'all think about that? That is Nolan Wells' grandfather's post. All right. So let's get into Judge Carlos Moore. Sits down with Dr. Heavenly from Married to Medicine to talk about this Nolan Wells case as well, to get some insight rather. All right. Shout out to the 140 watching, and shout out to Dr. Heavenly, because this is where I saw it. Former Judge Carlos Moore of Mississippi knew of Nolan Wells' family and brings a unique perspective and special insight into this case. Let's get into what was said. Let's go.
I want to talk about Nolan Wells. Let's jump right in there. What do you know about this case? And is this the norm from Mississippi? I know what I think in my heart and soul, but what do you think happened, and where are we going with this case?
I don't think it's the norm in that the way they usually investigate cases. I do believe because this case unfortunately involves race, you have Nolan mysteriously disappeared and no one seemed to know what happened to him. In fact, I am told that several of those 3 young men lawyered up immediately, even before the body was found. And one of the young men has a mother who is a judge, a chancellory judge there in Jackson County. And so she went on Facebook a couple of days after the body was found and started trying to tell her stepson's side of the story. So she's trying to use the prestige of her office to influence a potential jury, but now already. So it's been very strange. There has been no arrest of anyone. And I do know that in Mississippi, had the roles been reversed, if a black boy would have come back, some black boys come back and a white person was dead, those black boys would have been immediately suspected and they probably would have been immediately arrested within the first 48 hours.
Wow. Tell me this in your expert opinion. As a judge, I mean, I was always told to don't say anything, right? They say you've been arrested, don't say nothing because anything you say can and will be used against you. To me, being a judge, for her to put out a statement, was that the wrong thing to do, or you think that was the right thing to do for her son? Because the thing she added in, now all of that stuff is in question. I was always quiet, no matter what. Innocent, guilty, whatever, just hush. So why did she hush?
She should have. The rumor mill was going, and everybody was saying that one of the boys had a mom, a stepmom that was a judge, but that would have just been rumors. I mean, she confirmed that she was a judge and went on Facebook, and then if she had just done that, she might not be in so much hot water, but then she started trying to talk for the boy. And so why can't he talk for himself if he hadn't done anything? They've lawyered up and told him to remain silent, apparently. And so to get his truth out of there, they tried to go through the judge, but that's improper because that's just blatant hearsay. And so if you're going to remain quiet and don't try to speak to somebody else.
You know, on this show, we try to give all of the accurate information, but it's so much misinformation out there on social media. You never know what's true, what's not. But is it true that none of the boys have been brought in for questioning? Have they been questioned? Did they subpoena the cell phone? I mean, I ain't no judge. I ain't even no attorney, but I know we want the cell phone. We want all the footage. We want to talk to the boys and see exactly what happened because those boys are over 18, aren't they? I'm gonna call them men. Stop calling them boys. They adults.
Correct.
The young men, have they been brought in?
According to that Judge Ashley Cole that went out on Facebook, she said that her son, I believe his name is Warren, he spoke with law enforcement and she said he was cooperating. But as far as anyone being named suspects, anyone being taken to the station and interrogated properly, I don't think that has been done. That has not been announced by any member of law enforcement. And so, you know, just a few days after the young man was found dead, the sheriff of Jackson County went on television and said that no foul play was suspected. And so that told me they were not taking this case very seriously because the autopsy results were not back. And so I don't know how he could have known when all the people seem to have amnesia. Nobody's told him what happened. He has changed his tune now and he has brought the FBI in and now they're investigating the district attorney. But really still no arrest, and that's very surprising.
Very. Y'all hear that? Still no arrest. Still no arrest. Shout out to Dr. Heavenly for that. And shout out to Dr. Carlos Moore. I've started following him, so he has some really good stuff on his page. If you guys aren't following him, definitely check that out. Okay. So let's get into this development. We're still on Nolan Wells. And then I got a video to play for you guys, and y'all gonna be like, oh, what? Yeah. In terms of the autopsy, we're gonna talk about that here in a second too. All right, yeah, the judge should have shut her mouth because y'all know hearsay is not admissible in court. So I don't even know why she even spoke. She was trying to clear her son, and she should have said a damn thing. You had already deactivated your accounts and told your son to shut the fuck up. So you should have did the same thing that you advised him. But GPS data tracks the boat movement before Nolan Wells' disappearance and death. We actually looked at that, so I won't pull this again because it kind of says the same thing. I don't want to double talk that. Let's go ahead and get into this video. All right, so let's get into the video. That's really what I want to play anyway, so you guys can hear why they haven't released the autopsy. Notice Ben Crump said that the autopsy is supposed to be presented this week. They were supposed to. Now, mind you, the original autopsy that had already been done by the people there in Mississippi, that was already supposed to be put out. But notice they haven't put it out, and we're getting ready to tell you guys why in this video. They're waiting for the autopsy from the one in DC where Ben Crump and his people have asked for that to be done. They're waiting for that one to come back to see if they can compare what they found to that one. And it's given foul play. Let's get into it because they're going to break it down here. I said, oh my gosh, shout out to True Crime with Bree. Y'all ready for this? This is how I know it's some slick shit behind the scenes going on. Let's go.
The Jackson County Sheriff's Office doesn't want to release their autopsy reports. They want to get the autopsy results from the independent autopsy before they release theirs. The reason being because if they release their autopsy reports and it comes back as something different than what the independent autopsy report says, it's going to blow a whole lot of shit up in that sheriff's office, and a lot of their cases are going to be questioned. But Attorney Ben Crump and Nolan's family don't want to release their autopsy reports first because they know that the sheriff's office can change their report. It's a waiting game because from Nolan's parents' side, they want to catch the corruption in the Justice Department. But the department's main focus is making sure that there's no scandal. Y'all really are thinking, everyone's like, where's the autopsy reports? Where's the autopsy reports? They were supposed to be out by Friday. Well, no shit. Why would I release my autopsy reports for you to go turn around and say that you have the same results? But you started your autopsy first. So where are your reports? Yeah, okay. Y'all really gotta think about this. This case is twisted. And Nolan's parents are doing the right thing by their child. They literally got an independent autopsy. They're not giving his phone to Mississippi law enforcement because they know how they can do things. This corruption in the justice system really needs to stop. Justice for Nolan Xavier Wells.
So in retrospect, Nolan's family and Ben Crump, they're actually going over Mississippi's head, and they're getting other people involved, like the FBI. They're calling them to come in. They're not releasing the phone to them because they don't want them going and sneaking and deleting shit out of there to say they don't want there. Right? And then they're also doing this independent autopsy. Mississippi supposed had already released their autopsy. That's supposed to already been out, but they won't do it because they know that the separate autopsy that's going to be done in DC is going to say something different than theirs, because they're used to putting undetermined on their autopsies. And they can't do that in this case because somebody's watching. Somebody is asking for answers in this case, and they see that they're not going to let this go. There's too many high profile people involved in this case. So now you guys have got to do your proper investigative work. And as True Crime with Bree says, they're trying to keep any type of scandal from being in their sheriff's department, from being under their umbrella, because they don't want that spoken out. This is a high profile case now. So anything that's said about this Nolan Wells case is going to be on every news station, including CNN now, right? This ain't like some little town type of autopsy bullshit or a little town case now with Nolan Wells, some boy that was found by a lake or by a stream or river or whatever. This is a huge profound case that people like Tyler Perry, people like, of course, Ben Crump is on the case now, but so many other prominent figures have joined in on this case. And now this is some shit that can't be swept under the rug. So now they're sitting on their autopsy evidence, and they're refusing to release it until Ben Crump and his people release the second one. Y'all see what's going on? Let me play it one more time. They're on some slick shit. I see y'all, Mississippi. I see y'all. Let's get into it. And I feel like it all has
the Jackson County.
Hold it. I feel like it all has a lot to do with, and I told you guys, the judge and chancellor, the lady who spoke out who wasn't supposed to say anything. I think her son is Wyatt. I think Wyatt is her son, who was also on the boat, who was also said to be one of the people who possibly attacked Karmelo at this alleged pool party. And also, y'all know it's underage drinking and all of that. So they're trying to sweep all of this under the rug. They're deleting pictures. And let's not forget about the attorney of one of the parents also that's directly connected to this. So everyone is connected, from the sheriff's department to the attorneys to the judges, everybody that's connected, and they're trying to sit back and wait to see what Ben Crump and his people have before they release theirs. Because they don't want to look crazy by saying, oh, it's undetermined, we didn't find anything. But then DC finds he was burnt, he was beat up, he was this, and this. Y'all get it? They on some bullshit. Let's play it again.
County Sheriff's Office doesn't want to release their autopsy reports. They want to get the autopsy results from the independent autopsy before they release theirs. The reason being because if they release their autopsy reports and it comes back as something different than what the independent autopsy report says, it's going to blow a whole lot of shit up in that sheriff's office, and a lot of their cases are going to be questioned. But attorney Ben Crump and Nolan's family don't want to release their autopsy reports first because they know that the sheriff's office can change their report. It's a waiting game because from Nolan's parents' side, they want to catch the corruption in the Justice Department. But the department's main focus is making sure that there's no scandal. Y'all really are thinking, everyone's like, where's the autopsy reports? Where's the autopsy reports? They were supposed to be out by Friday. Well, no shit. Why would I release my autopsy reports for you to go turn around and say that you have the same results? But you started your autopsy first. So where are your reports? Yeah, okay. Y'all really gotta think about this. This case is twisted. And Nolan's parents are doing the right thing by their child. They literally got an independent autopsy. They're not giving his phone to Mississippi law enforcement because they know how they can do things. This corruption in the justice system really needs to stop. Justice for Nolan Xavier Wells.
Y'all catch that? So they're refusing to release their autopsy report that should have already been out now days ago. And they're refusing to release it because the second autopsy has not been released and that information has not been made public yet. Why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? I told you guys several other black boys or black people who were found unalive or something crazy happened to them when they got the autopsy there. The lady in Mississippi who does all of their autopsies in their town has been putting undetermined on all of their autopsy reports, which then stops the further investigation on that. And a lot of crimes have been swept under the rug. There's been no further investigation on those cases, but they can't do that one with this case because too many important hands are touching this case, and they're not letting this go. So now they've got to release what they know and what's really going on, because somebody's job is getting ready to be in jeopardy because of some shit that's been going on before. So with this Nolan Wells case, it's getting ready to expose some other shit that's been going on in their department that shouldn't have been going on. That's what's going on here. Says Karmelo, I wonder why nobody else is reporting. I don't know. I'm on it though. Y'all see me, I've been here every day reporting on Nolan Wells and Karmelo Anthony, right? Yeah. It's about to come out though. We're gonna stay on it. All right, let's move along. I haven't talked about Heart and Hustle in a minute. I'm gonna pull a few clips and we're gonna talk about it, then we're gonna move on. And then I'm gonna open up the lines so that you guys can come on and let me know what y'all feel about the topics that we discussed thus far. Okay, I haven't done an open panel in a while, so I'm excited to get to talk to you guys to see what you guys think. Okay, and that's for anybody that wants to come up, whether you're a mod, whether you're a content creator, whether you're just a subby, or just anybody just coming through that is interested in this case or any topics that we're discussing and you want to talk about it. You are definitely welcome to come up. All right, so let's go ahead and finish. All right, so Heart and Hustle, Houston. I got to catch up a little bit because I haven't talked about them in over a week by trying to keep up with these damn cases and stuff. My God. But shout out to On TV. So in this particular clip, it said that so I had to explode, said that things got a little heated at dinner between Chloe and Labrina. Okay, of course, you guys know Heart and Hustle does premiere on our TV screen Saturday, 8/7 Central. So, and that is on the OWN network. So let's go ahead and get into this scene with Chloe and Labrina.
I'm so triggered right now because Ashley said that Rhoa said that I said something. And when I tell my friends something and tell them to keep it in their back pocket, it's for my friend to know. You don't ever give up your source, boo. Like, these girls got a lot to learn.
I think I was frustrated in that moment because Rhoa is the benchmark. Like, well, Rhoa does this, and I'm like,
but if I made you feel that way, I didn't mean that.
That's how I felt.
That's loose. That's loose.
So what is the issue?
How you go back and say something. That's the issue.
I'm not gonna let you sit here and be fake tonight, Chloe. Like, that's not gonna happen where you get tea from Ashley, like just baiting everybody. So I had to explode.
I'm so triggered right now.
So as y'all know, Chloe's kind of been playing both fences, hearing something over here and then running over here and blah, 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 blah. And that started to cause some issues. And Labrina decided to call her out on it and expose her and like let her know, yeah, don't play in my face. Don't be fake. Don't be in my face acting like, oh, I want to know what's happening. Oh, you're my homegirl and I hate this is happening to you. But then when you're not in my presence and you're around other people, you're the one that's talking the most shit, right? I don't like people like that. What do y'all think? Sign off on that clip. We're just gonna look at some clips, all right, just to kind of catch up a little bit. Next clip, let's get it. And then we're gonna play Porsha here in a minute and what she got to say about the damn reunion, Real Housewives of Atlanta that's coming up. All right, what is it? August the 8th, I think it is, where we're gonna be seeing the reunion for Real Housewives of Atlanta. All right, so again on TV, said that I feel like Chloe is adding sauce to shit that is already brewing, not sauce, child. Now, Heart and Hustle Houston, again, it does view or come on Saturday nights, 8/7 Central on the OWN network. Let's get into this clip. All right.
Thing that pissed me off about what she said about you, because she was like, yeah, well, I don't know how Rhoa do stuff since she a manager, but I'm an owner.
I said, because when I hang out with Rhoa, sometimes she comes to town, but she was just like, Rhoa manages something. This is mine and I own it. Something to that extent.
Excuse me? I'm like, I done owned stuff before too. Like, I know how places too. Like, why would she say it like that? That's what really upset me.
Okay, that's fair. Because in that moment, I was irritated because Chloe is steady saying stuff like how it's handled when they go out to your spaces. And I feel like, I know that's your friend, but I feel like Chloe is adding sauce to that's already brewing. I do.
I feel like I'm learning stuff about my friend that I just never knew. Like, I never thought to myself that Chloe would come back and extend the version of what somebody else said. I just feel like she come back.
Chloe do be doing that a lot. I noticed. Chloe is a talkative girl. Like Chloe get around the girls and she's always saying, oh, let me tell you what such and such person said. I don't like people like that. Like, shut your ass up. Damn. Like Chloe is always telling some shit. She will sit and listen to a conversation about somebody and then be the first person that just cannot wait to go and tell the actual person that this person said this about you. And oh, she said this. And oh, when she said it, her facial expression was this, this, and this. Chloe is messy AF, right? Chloe is messy AF. So, Rhoa, get on her ass.
Telling me stuff as a friend, and here's something I need to think about. The thing that pissed me off about what she said about you,
like you just heard her sitting up there. Oh, so let me tell you what such and such and such.
because she was like, yeah, well, I don't know how Rhoa do stuff since she a manager, but I'm an owner.
I said, because when I hang out with Rhoa, sometimes she comes to town, but she was just like, Rhoa manages something. This is mine and I own it. Something to that extent.
So you ain't even sure what they say is miss something to that extent. But you in a hurry to run and tell Rhoa what such and such person had to say to get some shit brewed up so that when Rhoa run into this person, now y'all arguing and carrying on and being callous again. Damn. I blame you, Chloe. You need to be focused on that young ass, cheating ass boyfriend that you got over there that continues to play in your face instead of starting mess between the girls. Chloe, you starting too much division. What y'all think, right? I believe she is. Moving right along. All right. Last clip. All right. We're only going to do 3 clips of Heart and Hustle. Let's get into this last clip, child, because Labrina got a little attitude problem, I think. I know she got some stuff going on behind the scenes, child, but listen, girl, your attitude stay messed up. So let's get into this one. Labrina says, what was the reason? All right. Let's get into it.
My issue was never directly with you. It was more so like, who was there to be my friend? I don't fault you for that. Right. The issue with that was it was a lot. And like in therapy, remember, I was like, Chloe said it. I believe everybody in this room is amazing. Who said you're an actress? She's an actress. Gabrielle Cinnamon. The one off Monique.
Now, while she's talking, now here go Chloe trying to call the girl Gabrielle Sidibe from Precious, okay? Calling her the girl from Precious. Y'all know because she a little chunky or whatever. That was some shade. But then in another clip, I remember where Chloe said, I didn't say that. I don't even know what you're talking about. I never said nothing about no Gabrielle Sidibe. Production roll it back. That's you saying it right there, Chloe.
What's the name? Why was that lie carried back and placed on me? What was the motive of that when that happened? That's the real issue.
I think that Latoria and I are getting to a better place just for the simple fact we're realizing we're not the culprits here. There's dogs carrying bones. I'm talking about Chloe. She's a master manipulator.
My issue was never...
Yeah, y'all saw Chloe talking under her breath and starting shit behind the scenes, right? And then be ready to run and tell somebody what somebody else said when it be her.
Directly with you, it was more so like, who was there to be my friend? I don't fault you for that. Right. The issue with that was it was a lot. And like in therapy, remember, I was like, Chloe said it. I believe everybody in this room is amazing. Who said you're an actress?
She looks like an actress.
Gabrielle Cinnamon. The one off Monique. What's the name?
Chloe's so damn messy. Y'all heard it right there. Chloe with her little lying self. All right, let's get into Porsha and what she had to say about this damn reunion. And she also calls Kelly out too, child. Let's get into it. All right. Shout out to No Chaser. And we get ready to open up the lines, honey, so y'all can get on here and talk to me. All right. Come and talk to me, like Jodeci said. All right. Let's get it. Let's go.
It is literally the complete opposite. This particular reunion, I'm really, really looking forward to. Thoroughly looking forward to this reunion. Partially because there was a lot in this reunion there's a lot that needs to be talked about at this reunion that happened off camera. And then there's a lot that happened on camera that didn't come out clearly or wasn't fully understood, or you know how producers only have but so much to shoot down to, you know what I'm saying? Like we filmed for hours, but they have to chop it down to fit. How long is the show? 45 minutes to an hour? So you're talking about a luncheon that you see is probably shot about 3 hours or 2 hours, and they're having to take out the goodness or, you know, enough of the context in order to come up with a narrative to show to you guys. But the rest of it, you may not see. Maybe there's someone who was a little quiet that should have spoke up, or maybe there's someone talking over somebody and you couldn't hear what the other person said or whatever. There's always, this season, I feel there was a lot that went under the radar, right? When it comes to group conversation. So I am looking forward to this reunion so that we're all going to be in the same room. We don't have to worry about Kelly trying to talk over everybody and be the moderator. She seems like she does the best job she can, but we don't need that from her. We have a real host, which is Andy, and Andy is going to be able to move through the conversation and let people speak who need to speak. And my biggest focus will definitely be for each person to be heard. I feel like at the end of the day, when it comes to truth, you got to hear all sides. And I feel like the audience watching this season was confused about a lot, right? I mean, y'all definitely were confused and upset with me, and you're confused as you see, you know, other people and their actions and things like that. And so I just feel like this is the perfect opportunity to bring all the truth to the reunion. This is going to be the most truthful reunion ever. And I'm so freaking excited about it. I don't usually bring receipts, but this reunion, they're needed. They are absolutely needed. They are absolutely needed. They won't be nothing nasty. You know, I'm not a low down, you know, nasty type of person when it comes to like trying to bring up this and seedy things, but there's definitely some things that need clarification, on a lot of different fronts, with a lot of different girls on the show. So I definitely don't plan to come in and attack anybody. I don't come in to expose anybody. I hopefully we leave the reunion.
When you stop doing that, because that's what you've been doing, child. You just got done talking about Shamia mama and clocking her coochie miles, and she's sleeping with the uncle and everybody else. Like, hello, Porsha.
And we all agree to disagree, right? Or we leave the reunion and you apologize, or you apologize and whatever needs to happen, but we can leave the reunion with a respect, right? Because truth is truth. You can't really, finagle and change truth. It is what it is. This particular reunion.
What y'all think about what Porsha said? I can't wait to see the damn reunion. Andy said that this reunion is probably one of the best. And we hear it's going to be a lot of tea spread in this damn reunion. Somebody's going to announce a pregnancy at this reunion. It's going to be a back and forth. They say Angela Oakley was reading the girls down. Yes, they say it's going to be a whole hot ass mess. So I can't wait. I cannot wait for the reunion. We are quickly approaching though. All right, so now let me see about this damn get this link up there, child, so we can talk a little bit. Okay, let's get some talking going on. All right, let's see. Copy. Okay. Well, it's been a little minute since I dropped the link, y'all. Ooh, honey. All right, that's the link, honey. If y'all want to come up, go ahead and tap that link and come on up. Let's talk a little bit. Y'all don't be shy, okay? I promise I don't bite. For those of you that's been up before, it's been really, really fun. I want to see what you guys think about this Nolan Wells case. What do you guys think about this Karmelo case? What do you guys think about the Heart and Hustle clips that we shared, and also what Porsha had to say about the reunion? That's pretty much what we talked about. Oh, and y'all can also talk about Miss Presley getting that young man together, honey. Let him know I'm not done talking. And when I get done talking, I will let you know. All right, so we got some good topics. Y'all hit the link if you want to come up. It is an open panel. If not, I'm happy to go. I am happy to go. If y'all don't want to come up and talk, honey, I am happy to end this live. All right. We're gonna give it 30 seconds. Let's see. If anybody wants to come up, you can. If not, maybe we're gonna get on out of here. All right. We're gonna give it 30 seconds. All right. Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. I'm gonna play some music just to take the heat off, honey. Take the heat off. I'll play some music. And you guys decide if you want to come up. I'm trying to give y'all a little open panel. All right. Let me play Mickey Finke's favorite song. She's in Prince. So we're gonna play that. All right. I'm here, guys. All right, there's a link. Let me know. I'm going to talk. There's a link. Talk. see Joanna Williams. Let's bring you up. I see Rose. Hi. All right, let's do one at a time, you guys. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. I have two things to say, Rhea. I love your commentary.
Thank you.
You have me over here busting my guts early in the morning.
Okay.
But I do want to say with the Carmelo Anthony's case, Rhea, that's been a mess from the beginning. Before the case even started, that's been a total mess. And that judge needs to be recused. His attorney needs to be dealt with, and everybody else involved needs to be dealt with because they did him wrong. And we ain't never seen no case like that before. And all the history of watching cases, I've never seen nothing like that before.
Right.
So I hope and I pray that his attorneys can do whatever they need to do to get that judge recused. I don't think it's going to be a problem with getting the judge recused, but I want to see that attorney disbarred as well.
Yeah.
And that's all I got to say.
You're right about that. That attorney definitely needs to be off because how are you striking a deal with the judge? And I mean, you have this professional. You have this professional training to where you know what's allowed and what's not allowed. So even if this person is a judge and they present something to you that sounds contrary, that's not something that you should still go along with, knowing that that's going to cause somebody's life to be taken or sentence to 35 years. This boy had every right to testify. So you're right about that.
All they asses was in cahoots together.
They were.
From the beginning to the end.
I believe it. Yep. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
But that's all I wanted to say, Rhea.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming up, Miss Joanna Williams. All right.
Well, thank you for having me. Have a good one.
You too. Thank you. All right, Miss Rose. What's
Okay,
going on? This is my top flight, y'all. Hey, Rose.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, now Miss Joanne took all my stuff about the Karmelo case. She took everything I was going to say. In turn, I agree everything she said. Everything. I do want to know, can they go higher to get the judge recused? I'm recused. I wonder, can they go higher?
I don't think they can go over the actual judge that they assigned to overhear the evidence that they have to decide on if that Judge Roach can be recused. Once they make that decision, then they can probably present over that judge if they're not happy with that decision. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So they have to see what that judge that they've already assigned, the new judge, has to say. And if they're not happy with that, then they can take it further and probably maybe go to the Supreme Court.
Okay, that sounds good. I am really happy to hear that. And for it's the Nolan case, I actually think it's time for them to start really arresting people, because if they know if that boy been through HELL, but I mean if the other coroners say that he's been through all that means somebody hurt him.
Right.
That didn't just happen to him.
Right.
They hurt him. So anybody can see that. Plus, why would those MEs say that everybody undetermined? That don't make any sense. They need to go back to school or something if they can't read.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Okay, so that's all I have to say.
I agree, Rose. Thank you so much for coming up. That's my top flight, y'all. Thank you, Rose.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Okay. All right, so we got Rose down. Do we have anybody else to want to come up? Those were great. Those were great. Some great analysis that you guys gave on the Karmelo and Nolan case. Was there anybody else that want to come up? Okay, anybody else want to come up? You guys can definitely come up. I'll drop the link one more time. We have a couple more people if y'all want to. Y'all don't be shy. Y'all so shy. It's just me. It's just Karmelo. I talk to y'all every day. Y'all be killing me with that. Nobody else. Nobody else. Okay, well, we're going to get out of here if y'all don't want to come up, honey. All right. Hey, everybody still coming in. I see 146 watching us. Thank you guys for all being here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you guys want, you guys can still go and comment and let me know what you guys think about all the topics that we discussed in this video. Thank you guys. Yes. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get on out of here then. If you guys don't have anything else, love you guys down. I will see you guys later. I'm getting ready to be packing, you guys, because I'm gonna be going out of town this weekend. Tomorrow I will be traveling. So I will have to postpone Car Chronicles in the morning because I will be traveling. Y'all know how it is, honey, when you're traveling, trying to get from one destination to the next. So I will be going live once I reach my destination. So please keep you guys notifications on so you guys will know when I go live. So I will be going live tomorrow, just not tomorrow morning for Car Chronicles because I'll be traveling in child. Okay. Yes. So once I touch down and get where I'm going, then I will definitely be tapping in with you guys and we'll catch up and do all the things. All right. I appreciate you guys coming in for this live and supporting. Until the next one, thank you guys for joining. Bye.